Hey, good morning, everybody. It's about 11 o'clock, and this is looking out my condo window towards Tong Lo and Ekamai off in the distance. I'm here in Phrom Phong. I'm going to walk up to the train and head down a couple of stations to Nana and walk over to Bumrungrad Hospital to get my influenza, my flu shot. So let me take you along, and I'll explain the process using U.S. health insurance over here if you're in that same position, and explain how it works. And I'm trying not to cough. I get a little bit of I don't know if it's a little cold starting, a little tickle in my throat, so breathing's a little difficult today, but I'm doing my best. My 7-Eleven across the street there, if you see the metal gate off to the left, they are opening a large 7-Eleven. So I was a little disappointed when they closed the one right across the street. And I see the banner is down. The banner's been up for about a week. So I don't know if it's going to be knocking down a wall and I get a huge 7-Eleven, but there was like a carpet store or something next door. That'll be nice to have a big 7-Eleven. My other 7-Eleven is at the top of Sukhumvit on the right, or there's one right around the corner, about a 3-minute walk. But it's almost a joke having 3 or 4 7-Elevens on every street. Having one directly across from my condo, that's a big plus. All my motor taxi guys there, they're a good bunch of guys. They sit around playing cards and eating food, and they'll get pretty busy as the day goes on. Right now at 11, there's not a lot of customers, but they know, they always kid me that we know you're gonna walk, you like to get your exercise in, and I'll use them in the evening when I don't want to be all sweaty and just jump on a bike and race down to the train. If you've never watched my channel before, I'm Joe, and I just do these little walks and talks around Bangkok. I've lived here, going on 3 years. I love it. Retired here from San Diego. I'm 59, retired at 56. I was a mailman forever, so I was lucky to get that early retirement on a federal pension. If you do, 30 years and have the minimum retirement age, you can squeak out of there early, and you even get 75% of your Social Security benefit, your age 62 benefit. You'll get 75% of it early, and on top of a small pension. Plus, I worked and saved my whole life, so the goal was to retire early, and that's exactly what I did, and I'm loving it. I'm also in a unique position to be able to keep my U.S. health insurance here in Thailand. I have Blue Cross Federal, and other people have told me they have Blue Cross and it does not work in Thailand. So I think I have an addendum to the policy for overseas workers. There are plenty of folks working at the embassy here and all over the world, so maybe I just lucked out in that sense that I can keep my U.S. health insurance. I have to pay for it. It's about $300 a month, so no big complaints there. I'm sure it's a $1,300 a month policy, but it works just fine at Bumrungrad, one of the nicer hospitals here in Southeast Asia. I think Newsweek called it the 11th or 17th best hospital in the world, and it's a nice place. Now, there are a couple of dozen nice hospitals here in Bangkok. It's always kind of had a reputation as the place to come for quality health care in not only Southeast Asia. I'll show you when I'm at Bumrungrad. You'll have folks from all over the Middle East coming there for different procedures and surgeries. It's a very, cosmopolitan hospital. Or maybe I should just say it's a huge international hospital. You'll see folks from all over the world being walked around with valets that speak all kinds of Arabic, all kinds of different languages. Myself, I'm just going in on my own. You do have to, now Bumrungrad is an in-network hospital, no different than a hospital in New York or where I used to live in San Diego. So that's good. Once you get registered with the hospital, they'll do direct billing with in my case, Blue Cross. I think they also work with TRICARE and the military. I'm not positive on that. I only did 4 years. I did not retire, so I don't have the TRICARE benefit, but I'll see it on the paperwork as one of the insurances that they take. And I'm not sure how that works at age 65 when you go on to TRICARE for Life as your Medicare Part B. I'm not sure. I'm fairly certain you can't use Medicare abroad. I'm also lucky in the sense I'm the last generation of folks that is able to keep that U.S. health insurance and not have to go on to Medicare at 65. Again, I'm only 59, and hopefully they won't change the rule again, but I think they're going to grandfather us a last batch of folks in. So that'll be nice to be 65 plus and still be able to use that U.S. policy over here in Thailand. I know many people have the expense of getting a Thai policy, and that's probably a pretty good idea, if nothing else, for a catastrophic event. What I'm doing today, getting a flu shot, I'm sure is nothing. There might even be a way to get a free flu shot. I'm not sure, but my insurance is definitely a zero copay on the influenza today. And it's a little bit of a pain. You have to call in, and the rules change every year. You get a guarantee of benefit. It used to be, if you did not get a guarantee, you just kind of rushed in to see the doctor. Although there's no real excuse. They're there 24 hours. You call them, like even now. Hey, I'm not feeling well. I'm heading to the doctor. Please get me a guarantee. And in a half hour, by the time you get to the hospital, 99% of the time will be there. But in the past, here comes an ambulance. If you did not have a GOB, you had to pay half the cost, and then you sorted it out later. These days, if you do not have the guarantee of benefit, you have to pay the entire cost, and then you're reimbursed later when the GOB comes through from, in my case, Blue Cross. So it's best. I called last week, and the guarantee of benefits are good for 30 days. If you want to go get a physical or whatever the case is, go see a specialist, you have to pay the same copays as the U.S. Your insurance follows you, so they don't really care if you're going to the Mayo Clinic in the U.S. or you're going to a small clinic in Indonesia. The copay is the same. In my case, it's, I don't even know, $40, I think, for a doctor, $50 for a specialist. But the catch there is everything is a specialist here in Bangkok. If you make an appointment with me, I get kidney stones once in a while. So if I need to see a urologist, that's clearly going to be a specialist. You don't go talk to just a primary care doctor about kidney stones. They'll just send you straight to the urologist. If you're complaining about bad headaches, well, you're going to see the brain guy. It's just how it works over here. So expect to pay a copay of the specialist every time you come in. There's a little bit of billing issues. I just kind of expect it now. It was a little frustrating at first, like today. I'll go in and, I'm going to interrupt real quick. Somebody had asked me about the old St. James Hotel. Now it's the Journey Hub. I had mentioned in a video, I wasn't sure if clients were staying there yet, that the restaurant was open downstairs, and he told me he had booked a room in early December. So it's either open now or it's opening very soon. The old St. James next to the DoubleTree. So that's good. It used to be very popular with Japanese folks. But what was I saying? Okay, today it's supposed to be a zero copay, and I just kind of expect in a month or so, I'll get an email from Bumrungrad saying, hey, you owe $6 and you can't really argue it. You'll look at the bills and all, and it'll say influenza shot, zero cost. Then it'll say nursing care, the equivalent of 200 baht, whatever, $6. It's all supposed to be covered, but then when you call Blue Cross, they say they billed it strange. You know, we definitely offered $1,500 for the shot and the administering of the shot, and then somehow they billed just an extra nursing care. And I understand Blue Cross's position. We're not just going to pay for some line item that says nursing care with no other explanation, and I have to pay it. Otherwise, you burn bridges with the hospital I'd like to see here or go to here in Bangkok. So again, that's up to you how many $6 arguments you want to get in. The answer is zero. And I shouldn't say it happens every time. I'll say 20% of the time. I'm getting to the point where I'll just go over for one thing at a time. Like in the past, I would go see the eye doctor, go to the cardiologist, maybe stop by the urologist and get my flu shot all on the same day. Well, with all those appointments, something is gonna go wrong billing wise. So now I have the time. I like the walk, it gets me out of the condo. So I just do one thing at a time, and that way I can sort out on the calendar exactly what I did that day. In case for some reason I get a $52 bill for this influenza shot and everybody's in agreement it's supposed to be zero, I at least know what's going on. When I'm dealing with 3 different doctors in one day, it's kind of hard to figure out what I'm being charged for. So you call in, get that guarantee of benefit from whatever U.S. company is handling it. You're not talking to Blue Cross. You're talking to some international company that deals with several insurance companies, and they will contact Bumrungrad. As a matter of fact, they talk to them all the time. So when you talk to that person, they'll say Bumrungrad's no problem. We'll give them a call. We'll send them an email, whatever the case is, and then they'll send you the guarantee of benefits. So you have it on your phone. When I head over to the hospital right now, just as a precautionary way of doing things, I'll go up to the international insurance office and just make sure we're all on the same page. Hey, you have my guarantee of benefit, correct? If not, I have it here on my phone. Then I go get my flu shot, and 60% of the time, 70% of the time, that's going to be fine. Nothing's going to happen billing wise until it does. So don't be put off if somebody does something a little weird on the bill and you have to pay. I think I've paid as much as $50, but that was with some pretty complicated procedures. In one day, I had a colonoscopy, a physical, eye, hearing, on and on and on. And being tagged an extra $48 is really not the end of the world for thousands of dollars of procedures, even though I had paid my copays and we were all on the same page that's it, copays and you're done. There's going to be little lost in translation billing issues that might come up. That's just the price of doing business when you live abroad. And it's also a little interesting. I still really haven't figured out how the ambulance works. To be honest, if that came pretty close. If I needed an ambulance or I needed to get to the hospital in an emergency, I would just get myself there. That's probably going to be quicker than waiting for an ambulance across Bangkok traffic. But from what I understand, the ambulance is attached to the hospital. You'll see Bumrungrad ambulance racing around, or Med Health. You'll see them racing around town. I don't really think there's a 911 kind of a city service to take you to the nearest hospital. So keep that in mind. Again, if I felt like, hey, I'm really sick, I need to get to the emergency room right now, I would probably still do what I'm doing, which is jump on the train. That's going to be the quickest way to get those 2 stops across town, or jump on the back of a motorbike. Anything's going to be quicker than working with a car or even ambulance in Bangkok traffic. Sirens or not, there's no place for the cars to go 9 out of 10 times. So that ambulance just sits in traffic. With that being said, when I call into Bumrungrad to make an appointment, the first thing it says is, for ambulance, press 1, and for English, press 2. So gone is the myth that nobody speaks English in Bangkok. It's just that. There's plenty of English spoken, all the expat-friendly areas, and Bumrungrad certainly included on that list. And I'm not exactly sure how private insurance works here in Thailand. They definitely have the government hospitals, and I believe that's free for all Thai citizens. I think as an expat, you can even go to the government hospitals at a very discounted rate. But with my insurance, I'm basically paying $50 to see a specialist at Bumrungrad, one of the finer hospitals, or at whatever, one of the lower end, if that's how you want to put it, government hospitals. I'm sure there are some fine government hospitals. As a matter of fact, we were having this discussion, and one of my buddies said his doctor, he just goes to the government place, he doesn't have insurance, and he says his doctors will say, Yep, I work at Bumrungrad 4 days a week or whatever, you know, twice a month. They have to go over to the government hospital and do a shift. So I'm sure there are some very fine doctors. It's going to be a little bit more, it is what it is. You might be in a more dormitory style if you end up in a hospital bed. In Bumrungrad, it's more like you're in a 3-star hotel room. And I'm not sure my insurance would pay for it, but you can also get some very high-end rooms there in Bumrungrad where your guest can stay with you. So it's almost like a mini suite. And that's the Thai lottery, pulled on the 1st and 16th. There are 100 baht and 200 baht tickets, maybe 500 baht, I don't know. I usually buy the 200 baht, and the ticket's already printed out. So most Thais will just go by the last 2 numbers if that's their birthday or something happens, like Queen Sirkit passed away, and I believe she was 93. So we're walking down the street, and Boone checked, I don't know, 10 lottery ladies, and not a one of them had a 93 left. They all said the same thing. Oh, very lucky number, you know, it went very fast. And when I say the ticket is 200 baht, oftentimes it's 220 if you get it from a vendor who is severely disabled. I guess they get that extra 20 baht, I'm not sure. But Boone normally pushes me in that direction to go ahead and make a purchase from that person. They possibly need the money a little more. And I like to buy numbers ending in 7 just because it upsets her. She'll say, those are totally unlucky numbers, and we won 4,000 baht one time, so she stopped saying it after that. Now that's the ticket booth for an individual ticket, or you can use one of these machines, or if that focuses, you can get the rabbit card. I think it's 150 baht deposit. I'm not positive. Put money on it and you just buzz in and buzz out. I don't want to film this security guard, but let me show you here. It's pretty simple. It'll tell you how much is left on the ticket. I have 1,149, and then you just go in the proper direction of the train. If you're confused, it's marked there, Khukot. And Khukot is the direction we're going. So we're here at Krampong, and we're just going 2 stops, so Sok to Nana. I could easily walk it, but I'm not feeling like walking today. Oh, thank you. Oh, he came over. He thought I needed some help looking at the map. They're all pretty friendly here, and if you're in need of a little extra help, you'll see blind folks heading to the train, and the guard will escort them up the elevator. And there are lifts and elevators 99% of these stations, and they'll take them right up to that guard up at the first train. They'll just radio ahead, and that guy won't ride with you. He'll put you on the train in the first cart and ask you where you're going, and then there'll be a guard waiting for you at your stop to escort you down to the street, and you know, then you're on your own. Bangkok is doing a better job of helping blind folks and all. There's all kinds of, I guess it's almost braille tile on the ground to give you alerts. And I could easily have walked up to Nana, but I have to be somewhere in about an hour. So I jumped on the train for the 5-minute ride. And nice and easy, just a couple minutes later, we're up here at Nana. That is Sukhumvit Soi 7 and the beer garden. Very popular. We're walking up. You can do it one of 2 ways. The hospital's in between Sukhumvit Soi 3 and Soi 1. It goes odd and even. On the other side is Soi 4 and the famous Nana Plaza red light area. And that's another peak down Soi 7. You'll see these Bumrungrad or Bangkok hospital shuttles all over town. Sometimes they're sitting here at the BTS station. Again, I'm in it for a little exercise, for the walk. It's a very short walk, a half a mile, I think, to the hospital. But if you're coming into town with a banged up knee and that type of thing, maybe you're on crutches, look into those different shuttle buses. I think they might come straight to your hotel or condo, but I'm not certain of that. And all the different office ladies and gentlemen are all dressed in black. The Queen Mother, Queen Sirkit, passed away, and I believe it's 90 days of mourning. I'm not sure how long the black dress lasts, but it's been a little while. I know my girlfriend said you don't have to dress in black, but you definitely have to wear a black ribbon. She was a beloved queen, died at the age of 93. I think she became a queen at age 17, married to King Rama number 9, who everybody just loves. Everywhere you walk will be Rama 9 pictures. Both King Rama 9 and his wife did so much for the Thai people, especially the poor folks, the farmers and all. She's just beloved to this day. Up to Sukhumvit Soi 5. This is a really interesting area of town, affectionately known as Little Arabia. You'll find, maybe I'll cut through here. You'll find all kinds of delicious food. I'll show you one of my favorite up here on the left, hafid. Really good homemade Arabic non-type bread. He's probably making it right now, and I know they bag it up, and I've seen the bags in other restaurants, kebab shops, and all around town. I want to say it's open 24 hours, but they'll run out of the grilled beef. They'll have the chicken well into the evening, but the beef runs out pretty quick. Yeah, I don't know if they're baking back there. Yeah, they normally have the kebabs going right here, and they had like a brick oven right there, but really good stuff. I'll even buy it to go, the bread. This is the 24-hour food land. Everybody likes that lunch counter right there. It's okay. $1.50. You get like 1 egg and a piece of toast. I'd rather, for 200 baht, $6, hit one of the Irish pubs around town and pick 7 items out of 16. And it's a big old huge English or American breakfast. Not a lot of bars on this street. Again, it's a lot of Muslim folks stay in this area. But right over there on the right, they still have the Halloween pumpkins up, is Gulliver's Tavern. This is a fun spot. They also have a Gulliver's in Pattaya Beach. Good little sports bar. Well, it's pretty big. And all the different taxis and tour guides, they're hanging out waiting to get a customer. Hopefully for the next day. It's not too much to hire a car. From here to Pattaya Beach is a little under 100 miles. 1,400 baht will normally get the job done. Or you can go up to the Ekamai bus station, 131 baht each way. All kinds of perfume shops and interesting little shops. But all the hotels here are the Hotel Kuwait or the Hotel Iraqi. If you come down here late into the evening, I've wandered through at say 1 in the morning, there'll just be hundreds of people piled out onto the street here doing the hookah and drinking all their teas. Alcohol isn't their thing, but they still know how to party. It is the Iraqi Hotel. And that was Soi 3/1. So Soi 5 is where Foodland was. 3/1, and this is the main Soi 3. If you went across Sukhumvit and the BTS tracks just down that way, you'd be at Soi 4 on the even side in Nana Plaza. But we are going off in this direction. I hate running across this busy road, but sometimes your best shot is when there's a bit of traffic like this. Just watch the motorbikes. And even watch the motorbikes coming the wrong way. No, they put a gate in front of me. And a lot of the folks from the Middle East stay at this Grace Hotel. In fact, well, there's a Dubai restaurant down below, Lebanese, Indian, Thai, and seafood. I think they have an Arabic disco in there, or nightclub. I'm not entirely sure. Far from the hospital, Sarah's Hotel. Again, I think the Middle Eastern folks, they love staying in this area. Right behind Bumrungrad is a Hyatt Place, and it's a couple little hotels just feet from the hospital. So if a loved one is heading in for some type of procedure, that might be a nice convenient place to stay. But on the other hand, if you have a bunch of Hyatt points and you're coming to town, I would probably stay at the Hyatt Place on Soi 24, right near my home in the Prompong area, more so than the one tucked away behind the hospital here. Unless you're gonna be partying at Nana Plaza heavily. It's a pretty easy walk. And that white SUV is pulling into the embassy of Pakistan. And just down the road, not even a half mile on the right, is the ambassador of Japan's residence. Wireless Road, you'll find 20, maybe more embassies, which isn't far from here. The embassy of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. All right. And there goes the Iron Gate. Okay, here's the Bumrungrad shuttle bus. So right there where the cars are coming around the corner, we're going to take a left turn. And that's the hospital. If you were to cross the street, there is a crosswalk right here. If you were to go across the street where that little tuk-tuk just came out and you went down just a very short distance, you'd be at the end of Soi 11. In fact, many people are familiar with Above 11 rooftop bar at the Fraser Suites. Well, that is it. Right there. Now they've since put up kind of a rain guard, so it's not the real open air rooftop feel, but it's still pretty fun. You can see it's a pretty short walk. All these cars are in the way. Well, at the base of that building is Soi 11. And you can't miss it. At the 3 Hotel here, just take a left and the sign says Bumrungrad. And once again, the 3 towers, A, B, and C building, go in between Soi 3 and Soi 1. Now, when you come into the hospital, I go to, this is building A. You'll find the emergency room there. But over here in building B, I don't know, on the 2nd floor, maybe it's the 3rd floor, is the international insurance desk. So that's normally my first stop, just to make sure we're all on the same page, insurance-wise. Also in the lobby of that building, if you're just sick, don't be afraid to come into any of these hospitals. I don't know if you have to come to Bumrungrad. Anybody's going to be able to take care of a little food poisoning or whatever you have going, even some of the smaller clinics around town. But let's say you twisted your ankle on vacation or something bad happened. Don't be afraid to come in here even without insurance. That is the thing. Like today, whatever, I'm paying a zero copays. This is a bad example, but let's say I was coming to a regular specialist today and I had to pay my $50 copay. Well, I get all the bills. They're going to be in Thai baht, but it might be $70 to see the doctor and get a prescription. So there you go. I'm not really paying for this insurance for just a single $70 trip to the doctor. You never know when you're going to need that $100,000 or $200,000 cancer treatment. And they also kind of do an interesting valet service. So over there, you just drop your car off and they'll park the Lamborghinis or where there's over there a Porsche Cayenne SUV right now. They'll park all the more higher end cars, like right where that police van is. Yeah, so it's common sense, but just don't suffer. Come into one of these hospitals, even if you have to pay a couple $100. It's not worth having your entire vacation ruined over just a small mishap. They even have a Starbucks down here and folks playing piano. Right on this floor is a McDonald's. Small little food court tucked away behind the McDonald's, but it's pretty good. I've had a meal or two back there, a couple of Japanese restaurants. So what floor are we on? I just went up. Okay, this is the end floor. All right, so I got a little nice pad krapao in there. These flu shots don't really bother me, but you never know. Should have a little something in your stomach. I did go up and get the guarantee of benefit. She printed it out for me. When you go to the dock, you immediately go to the cashier and settle up your bill, your copay, in my case, $0. So she said, take this to the cashier just to point out everything's $0 and there won't be a problem in the future. If they give you a prescription for whatever reason, you'll pay at the cashier, and then 10 feet away from the cashier is the pharmacy. Now, you don't have to fill in the hospital. In fact, you probably shouldn't. Well, in my case, I forget what I pay. I think I'm responsible for 30% of the drug. Now, they're going to be more expensive here in the hospital. So let's say a drug, I'll just make it up, it's $100. I have to pay 30 US dollar equivalent, or whatever that is in Thai baht, 1100, 1200, whatever it is. Or I can go to Siam Pharmacy, say, over by the Plonchip BTS, and it might be $65. I don't know if it's that drastic a difference. The problem then is I have to submit the receipt, pay the whole $65. They don't accept my Blue Cross insurance. Submit the receipts, and then I'll be reimbursed for everything except the 30% of the $65. Again, not a big deal. I rarely get prescriptions. I'm not on any long-term meds, but if you're taking 4 or 5 different things, that could come into play, the cheaper way to do it. I don't know if they have mail order over here. I suspect they do, so that might be something to investigate. Now I'm over to the A building. I'm going to go up to the 11th floor. You'll check in, they'll take your blood pressure, and then get my shot. I'll give you a quick peek. I don't want to do a lot of filming inside the hospital, just respecting folks' privacy, but it's all state-of-the-art facility. So a successful hospital run, everything went smooth. You go to, it's a well-oiled machine. You check into registration, then they take you over to vital signs. Then the vital sign person offered to walk me over to the other station where you wait for the nurse. And I said, nah, I know where it's at, the D section. So I went over. Then they asked if I'd like to see the doctor, and I said, nope, just getting a flu shot. I'll get my flu shot and be on my way. But they came back and said, no, the doctor would like to see you for just at least 1 minute. I went in and she verified I'm not allergic to eggs, or just the basic questions. And she also asked me, do I have any other medical concerns today? Nope, just here for a flu shot. I went and got the shot, and then the nurse who gave me the shot, well, let me escort you over to the billing desk. Once again, I said, I know you're very busy. I know where it's at. And she said, no, it's part of my job. So she walked me over there, and I verified I had a 0 copay and a guarantee of benefit. She looked at the paperwork and said, I agree. I'll make sure the billing person agrees, and you should not have an issue. So they really kind of walk your hand through the process here, but you're paying for that. I'm paying through insurance, but if you are paying cash, this is probably going to be the most expensive game in town. So do a little shopping. Even with me being on the mailing list here, I'll get different advertisements. I don't know, 20% off a full adult over 50 male checkup. And their checkups here are as thorough as can be, with an EKG and a eye test, hearing test, on and on and on. As a matter of fact, be a little careful if you, in my case, I'm allowed 1 free physical a year. Well, not a Bumrungrad physical. If I want to go see an eye doctor, I have to pay the $50 copay, the same with hearing, that type of thing. Here, they just kind of lump it all into the physical. So talk at the insurance office, have an understanding of what exactly that physical is going to cover. And to be honest, it's going to be basic lab work, urine, that type of thing. As a matter of fact, I went up to the same floor that I had my physical. I've only had one here. I should get another soon. I went to a cardiologist for another issue, and I just had them do my labs this last year. Just keep an eye on things. Everything was in check, so I didn't really need to meet with the doctor and talk about my health. I was just interested in the labs. But I went today for the flu shot where they're doing the physicals, and it reminded me they have the JW Marriott doing catering. Once you fast and do your blood and urine work, there are sandwiches and soup available for you right there at the waiting to see the doctor for your physical station. So that's a pretty nice perk. Now my girlfriend, she works for a large bank. They have their own little medical office. Not that I've known her almost 2 years. I don't think she's ever called in sick. I can't remember her ever being sick, but every now and then she needs to go see the doc for one little tiny thing or another, and it's nice to have that clinic right downstairs. A lot of large companies do that. She also has private Thai insurance through the bank, and she doesn't come to Bumrungrad. She goes to a hospital over near her house. I don't know. I don't know if we've never really talked about it, if her Thai insurance would cover Bumrungrad. Maybe not. I'm not positive, but it covers more than, I know she goes to a private hospital other than the government hospital, for what that's worth. Well, there you go. There's a little peek at Bumrungrad anyhow, here in Bangkok, Thailand. It's a fine hospital. It's not the only pick in town or choice in all of Thailand. If you're going to be doing some bouncing around, you may want to get into the Bangkok hospital system. I know, well, they have the one here, kind of in the Ekamai area, on the other side of Phetchaburi. I guess it's Ekamai. They have one in Pattaya. There's one in Hua Hin. I think there's Bangkok hospitals all over Thailand. Where Bumrungrad, I believe this is the only branch or the only hospital, and I'm not certain if they have little branch clinics. I haven't really investigated that, but I don't think they do. I've seen other YouTubers who move to different parts of Thailand, and they'll come back to Bumrungrad for their physical, just because this is where they started years ago. There's always traffic on this Sukhumvit Soi 3 heading into the Nana area, so I'm going to walk back up to the train. I need to get on home and get a little work done in the next 2 or 3 hours, and then go meet some buddies for an early dinner. I appreciate you running around the streets of Bangkok with me, and there will be more videos to come, so hopefully we'll see you soon. You take it easy. Have a good afternoon.